Have you ever felt something deep inside you resisting the world outside? Not because you're sad, not because you're lazy, but because your soul whispers, "This isn't where I belong today." People call it antisocial. They say you're missing out. But what if they're wrong? What if your desire to stay home isn't weakness, but a divine signal? In this video, I'll reveal 6 spiritual truths about chosen ones who feel more alive in silence than in noise, more themselves in solitude than in a crowd. And by the end, you may realize your isolation isn't escape, it's transformation. If this already resonates with something inside of you, hit that like button now, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment 99, because spiritually, 99 signifies that your soul is ready to break free from earthly distractions. And stay until the end, because this message might finally explain what your spirit has been trying to tell you for years. Truth 1. You're not hiding, you're healing. You don't avoid the world because you're afraid. You avoid it because you're awakening. There's a difference, and it's time you felt that deeply. The outside world moves too fast, talks too loud, and feels too shallow. It's filled with meaningless conversations, superficial connections, and endless noise disguised as productivity. Have you ever stopped and wondered why the relentless hustle everyone praises leaves you drained instead of inspired? Why those crowded spaces that excite others only make you feel empty? Listen carefully, because this isn't just a quirk or a personality trait. Your soul is operating at a different frequency. It's tuned to something deeper, more subtle, more sacred. Your inner voice isn't seeking chaos, it's craving truth. And truth rarely thrives amid the chaos. Chosen ones understand that the outside world doesn't nourish, it consumes. It feeds off energy, attention, and superficial achievements. But inside your home, there's peace. Real peace. The kind of peace most people spend their whole lives searching for, but never truly find. Home is not just where you live. It's where your soul breathes. It's the quiet temple where your heart recalibrates after being exposed to a frantic world. But what if your desire to stay home is not about comfort at all? What if, unknowingly, your higher self is guiding you to a deeper purpose that can only unfold in solitude? Your withdrawal from the world is not retreat, it's regeneration. Your silence isn't an absence of sound, it's the presence of spirit. It's where your intuition sharpens, your dreams clarify, and your spiritual gifts strengthen. Pay attention to those subtle moments, the quiet chills down your spine when you're alone, the sudden intuitive insights that arise out of nowhere, the dreams that feel more like prophetic messages than random imaginations. Those are not coincidences. Those are divine breadcrumbs, leading you towards your true mission. Think about it. Have you noticed that, after extended periods at home, you begin to perceive things differently? You start seeing connections others miss, feeling energies most would never acknowledge. Your isolation sharpens your spiritual eyesight, allowing you to detect deception, discern sincerity, and feel truths others overlook. You're not shutting out the world. You're refining your senses for when you must re-enter it. Yet society calls it hiding. They label it as weakness, avoidance, anxiety, but they couldn't be further from the truth. This isn't fear-based, it's wisdom-based. You've subconsciously recognized something profound. The external world doesn't reflect your internal reality. Your soul is tired of trying to fit into frequencies that distort its true nature. Staying home is your quiet act of rebellion, your refusal to betray yourself. And here's where the hidden magic unfolds. The more you embrace this solitude, the stronger your spiritual resilience becomes. Every quiet night, Every early morning meditation, every peaceful moment alone is preparing you for something incredible. It's aligning you spiritually, mentally, and energetically for a future role that demands absolute clarity, inner strength, and authenticity. You're not avoiding responsibility, you're accepting your divine assignment. But let's go deeper. Could it be that your isolation is also your greatest protection? What if the universe intentionally keeps you apart from certain places and people? Have you considered that maybe, just maybe, your soul's refusal to engage with the outer world is preventing you from walking into emotional traps, toxic environments, and spiritual ambushes designed to drain your essence? Remember, chosen ones often walk paths others cannot see. They sense spiritual landmines long before stepping on them. They perceive negative influences hidden behind charming smiles and inviting words. Your retreat is not cowardice, it's strategic wisdom. So next time someone says you should get out more, gently remind yourself, this journey isn't for them to understand. Your path is unique, your calling rare. You are preparing something powerful, something profound within yourself that the outside world isn't yet ready to witness. And now, here's the intriguing truth. Your solitary moments are not only preparing you, they're hiding you for a reason. You are hidden because you're about to be revealed. And when the moment comes for your true mission to unfold, the world won't see someone fragile emerging from isolation. They'll witness a powerful soul stepping forward, healed, awakened, and fully prepared. But until then, there is one mystery still waiting to be uncovered. One deeper layer behind your solitude, something your soul has sensed, but your conscious mind hasn't fully grasped yet. And when you do, everything changes forever. Stay with me, because the next truth will finally unlock this hidden revelation and answer the question your heart has always silently asked. Truth 2. Your energy is sacred, and you feel everything. You're not too sensitive. You're not overthinking. You're not dramatic. You are spiritually perceptive, and that changes everything. When most people walk into a room, they see furniture, walls, and faces. But you feel the temperature of the spirit in the air. You sense the weight of unspoken words. You pick up on the residue of past arguments, hidden tensions, secret envy. It's not your imagination. It's your discernment. It's a gift and a responsibility. Crowded rooms don't just overwhelm your body, they assault your spirit. The moment you step into certain environments, something inside contracts. You feel the falseness behind the laughter. You notice the energy behind the silence. You sense what others pretend doesn't exist. And that sensitivity, that sacred radar, it's not something you chose. It's something your soul was born carrying. But here's what no one tells you. Feeling everything comes with a cost. Being this energetically open is like walking through a storm with no umbrella. Every word, every stare, every shift in vibration soaks into your being. And if you're not intentional, you'll drown in energies that were never yours to carry. That's why staying home isn't just your preference. It's your sanctuary. It's your way of protecting your frequency from being hijacked by chaos, ego, and energetic pollution. Most people don't realize how noisy the world really is. Not with sound, but with soul static. People projecting pain. Places echoing unresolved trauma. Moments charged with unseen pressure. You feel all of it. Even if no one else notices, your spirit does. Even if no one else flinches, your intuition tightens. Even if no one else speaks up, your body reacts. So while they laugh at your need for space, while they question your disappearance from social settings. They have no idea how many battles you're fighting silently, just to stay whole. You are not fragile. You are finely tuned. And like any finely tuned instrument, you must be kept in the right environment, or your sound distorts. The truth is, your energy was never meant to be casually exposed. You were not designed to be available to everyone, everywhere, all the time. You carry a divine signature, and anything divine must be guarded. That's why, without even realizing it, your soul starts pulling you away from people who lie with their energy, from rooms that echo with competition instead of connection, from conversations where truth is buried under performance. And it's not because you're judging, it's because you're protecting your clarity, your peace, your mission. But let's go even deeper, because there's something mysterious happening inside you. Something that explains not only why you feel everything, but what those feelings are trying to show you. What if your sensitivity isn't just about protection, but about preparation? What if the reason you feel so deeply is because you're meant to see what others can't? There's a hidden blueprint in this sensitivity, a secret role you've been chosen to play, and only those who feel everything can step into it fully. You're not here to survive the noise. You're here to interpret it, to translate it, to transform it. But that kind of sacred assignment requires one thing first: mastery of your own energy. And that journey begins at home, where your spirit can finally breathe, uncluttered, undisturbed, untangled from the emotional web of the world. Because soon, you won't just be protecting your frequency, you'll be using it for something far greater than you ever imagined. And what that something is, we're about to uncover next. So stay close. The next truth will reveal what your energy was truly designed for. Truth 3. Your soul recognizes a different timing. The world runs like a machine, always rushing, always reaching, always performing. It tells you, move faster, do more, hustle harder. And if you don't, they say you're lazy, irrelevant, falling behind. But your soul knows better. You don't crave speed. You crave truth. You crave depth. You crave something real enough to outlive the noise. While others chase numbers, views, and validation, you're chasing alignment. You're waiting for that invisible inner green light, that sacred yes that doesn't come from the world, but from within. And here's the paradox they'll never understand. You're not slow. You're exact. Because divine timing is not measured by clocks. It's measured by alignment. And alignment can't be rushed. That's why being at home feels right. Because there, you're not being pulled in every direction. You're not caught in the whirlwind of artificial urgency. You're not asked to pretend that constant movement equals meaning. At home, you operate in another dimension of time, your own spiritual rhythm, and that rhythm is sacred. It's not always logical. It doesn't always make sense to others. Sometimes it's quiet for months. Then, suddenly, something shifts. Doors open. Ideas flow. Everything accelerates, and it looks like overnight success. But you know the truth. It wasn't overnight. It was divine. You were moving all along, but at the pace of purpose, not pressure. Let's go deeper. There's something profound that happens when you no longer measure your worth by what you've accomplished today. When you stop panicking because someone else got there first. When you realize the destination God has prepared for you won't be given to anyone else. Your soul knows that true fulfillment doesn't come from speed. It comes from sequence. One aligned step at a time. And that kind of journey requires patience, stillness, and discernment. That's why your spirit resists being rushed. It knows what forced timing leads to: mistakes, misalignments, missed messages. So you slow down, not because you're confused, but because you're listening. And when you listen, you begin to hear something no one else can: the rhythm of your destiny. It pulses beneath the surface of silence. It echoes in the still moments when the world thinks nothing is happening. But spiritually, everything is being rearranged. And while they're out there sprinting in circles, you're moving in spirals, rising higher each time you return to yourself. So don't feel guilty for moving slower. Don't apologize for not keeping up. You were never meant to fit into that timeline. You're not late. You're right on divine time. But here's the twist. The stillness you've been resting in, it's not just peace. It's a portal. And something's about to pass through it. Something's forming in the silence you've honored. A revelation. A calling. A moment designed only for you. But in order to receive it fully, you'll have to understand one thing that's been hidden beneath your timing all along. Something sacred that ties your rhythm to a much greater assignment. And that hidden key, we unlock it in the next truth. Don't look away. You're about to understand why you were never meant to move like the rest of the world. Dito Pelo Chat GPT. Truth 4. You're not lonely. You're connected on a higher level. Loneliness. That's the word they use when they see you alone. But they don't understand what's really happening. The world fears solitude, because when the noise stops, so does the distraction. And when distraction ends, the truth begins to speak. Most people aren't ready for that voice, but you are. While they fill their calendars, chase events, and stack their days with movement just to avoid sitting still, you sit in the silence and listen. You welcome quiet mornings. You heal through soft music that carries light. You breathe deeper during long pauses. And you have slow conversations with God that don't require language, only presence. It's not loneliness, it's intimacy with the divine. When people say, "Don't you get tired of being alone?" they reveal more about themselves than about you. Because for them, silence is scary. But for you, it's sacred. Yes, you feel the ache sometimes. The quiet gets heavy. The nights get long. And there are moments when you wonder if anyone truly understands what you carry inside. But even in that ache, you're not empty. You're expanding. Because here's what no one tells you. True connection doesn't always look like company. Sometimes it looks like a still room, a journal filled with raw thoughts, a candle burning quietly in the dark. Sometimes the most powerful conversations happen without another person in sight. Your solitude is not a void, it's a womb, where visions are conceived, where healing begins, where your purpose is incubated until the time is right. Think about it. Most of the prophets weren't found in crowds. They were found in caves, wildernesses, deserts, hidden spaces where the noise couldn't reach them, but heaven could. You too are being prepared in silence. And that preparation requires separation. You're not disconnected. You're being fine-tuned. Your inner world is becoming so alive that the outer world starts to feel unnecessary. You don't need the validation of being seen. You've touched something eternal in the unseen. And that's what sets you apart. You're not seeking attention. You're seeking alignment. You're not chasing interaction. You're cultivating intimacy with God, with your soul, with your mission. And in those moments of solitude, Your spirit becomes louder than your fears. Your clarity becomes brighter than your doubts. Your faith becomes deeper than your loneliness. Because what's happening inside you is not absence, it's activation. And now, here's the twist most will never realize. This loneliness they fear so much, it's not your weakness, it's your armor. The solitude that protects you now is the very thing that's making you spiritually untouchable later. But there's something more. Something hidden in this sacred space of yours that most never reach. A door that only opens when you've sat long enough in the silence. What's behind that door? A revelation. A spiritual upgrade. A moment when you realize you were never alone. You were being surrounded by something greater. And in the next truth, you'll finally understand why your house feels like holy ground, and how it's been quietly preparing you for a role this world isn't ready for yet. Stay with me. The real awakening is just beginning. Truth 5. Your house is your altar. They see 4 walls. You see sacred space. They see ordinary furniture. You feel spiritual protection. Your home isn't just a place where you rest. It's the place where your spirit resets. For the chosen ones, home is not a hiding spot. It's not a fallback. It's not a last resort. It's a temple, an altar, a divine meeting point between your soul and the invisible. That candle you light, it's more than ambiance. It's intention made visible. That quiet corner where you whisper your prayers. It's a portal where heaven bends to listen. That silence that feels strangely full, it's because you're not alone. Something sacred is always waiting for you there. Every object in your space begins to take on meaning. That book you return to again and again, it's not just literature, it's revelation. That soft blanket that holds you on tired nights, it's not just comfort, it's spiritual covering. That soft music, that incense, that cup of tea you hold while staring into nothing. None of it is random. It's ritual, it's rhythm, it's realignment. You don't just organize your room, you're aligning energy. You're clearing the spiritual static. You're preparing the atmosphere to hold what your soul is about to receive. Because in your home, you don't have to shrink. You don't have to filter. You don't have to translate your spirit into a language the world understands. Here you can cry without explaining, laugh without holding back, pray without proof, and feel without fear. Your house becomes the only space where your outer world finally matches your inner peace. And slowly, it begins to evolve. It's no longer just where you live. It becomes where you ascend, a sacred field where divine conversations happen between you and the invisible realm. A womb where future versions of yourself are quietly being born. A mirror that reflects who you are becoming, not just what you've been. Think about it. How many times have you walked through your front door and immediately felt a shift? Like you could finally breathe again. That's not just relief. That's realignment. It's your soul recognizing the vibration it was designed to rest in. Because the outside world demands performance. But your home invites presence. The outside world asks for masks. But your home lets your spirit be unfiltered, raw, and radiant. And this is where something truly mystical begins. Because as you honor your home like an altar, it starts to respond like one. You'll notice signs, waves of clarity out of nowhere, sudden releases of emotion, dreams charged with meaning, moments of divine instruction that arrive mid-silence. And the more you care for that space, the more it begins to care for you. It becomes a shield, a source, a sanctuary, not because of what's in it, but because of what you've poured into it. Your energy, your prayers, your tears, your surrender. And here's what most people never realize. The sacredness of your home is not determined by its size or beauty. It's determined by its frequency. You could be living in one room with no luxuries at all, and still host the presence of something eternal. Because when your home becomes an altar, you don't just enter it, you commune with it. But here's the mystery still unfolding. This sacred space you've created, it's not only been healing you, it's been preparing you. Preparing you to carry something out into the world that can only be born in silence. And in the next truth, you'll discover why your private sanctuary is the launch pad for your public destiny. We're almost there. Don't blink. The final transformation is waiting. Truth 6. They won't understand. And that's okay. They'll look at you with confusion. They'll throw out lines like, "You need to get out more. You're too young to be this distant. You're missing the best years of your life." But deep down, you know they're speaking from a place you no longer live in. Because here's the truth. They don't understand your silence, because they've never sat in theirs. They don't understand your solitude, because they fear what they'd hear in their own. They don't understand your stillness, because they've confused noise with meaning for far too long, and that's okay. Their misunderstanding is not your assignment to fix. Your path was never meant to be visible to the masses. You were designed to walk a narrow road, one paved not with applause, but with alignment. You're not here to sync with the world's rhythm. You're here to follow your divine frequency. And sometimes, that frequency leads you away from parties, distractions, and surface-level conversations, and straight into nights of reflection, tears that cleanse, and moments with God that rearrange everything. Yes, they'll label you. Too quiet, too deep, too disconnected, too intense. But the truth is, you're just too aware. You've seen what fake connection looks like. You've felt the emptiness of fitting in. You've tasted the bitterness of being normal when your soul was born to be set apart. And once your spirit awakens to that, there's no going back. You stop explaining yourself. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop apologizing for honoring your own energy. You begin to realize, not being understood is not a curse. It's a confirmation. It means you're not walking in circles anymore. You're rising. And not everyone can breathe where you're going. Let that sink in. You're not disconnected. You're distilled, pure, focused, called. Every time you choose silence over noise, purpose over pressure, stillness over stimulation, you step further into the identity heaven whispered into your soul long before the world had an opinion. And here's what's wild. The very people who mock your solitude today will one day seek your peace. They'll crave the stillness you've cultivated. They'll search for the clarity that radiates from your presence, because the chosen ones aren't loud, but they are unmistakable. So let them misunderstand. Let them project. Let them talk. You were never meant to be explained. You were meant to be experienced. And the ones who are meant to walk with you, they'll recognize your frequency. They won't ask you to change it. They'll rise to match it. But until then, walk quietly. Move deeply. Guard your peace like the sacred treasure it is. Because what's forming inside you, in the silence, in the solitude, in the secret, isn't small. It's a spiritual force. And it's almost ready. And in the next and final moment of this message, you'll understand why everything, the stillness, the separation, the silence, has been preparing you for something that will not just change your life, it will awaken your true identity. Stay here. We're about to close this chapter with a revelation that will echo in your soul long after the video ends. Chosen one. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to disrupt the illusion by embodying truth. And in a world addicted to noise, distraction, and validation, you chose silence, you chose alignment, you chose truth over approval. That wasn't weakness, that was spiritual intelligence, because your silence is not emptiness, it is sacred space. A space where you are stripped of everything false and finally meet your real self. It's in that stillness that your calling is carved, not with thunder, but with the quiet chisel of divine revelation. And now you see it clearly. Your solitude was never a pause. It was a passage, a hidden corridor between who you were and who you're becoming. You weren't retreating. You were being refined. You weren't disconnected. You were being realigned. You weren't avoiding life. You were anchoring purpose. That strange pull to stay home, that craving for silence no one else understood, that deep need to guard your space, your time, your soul, it was heaven, calling you to higher ground, separating you for sacred use, marking you for a mission that requires clarity, not clutter. And now, you feel it, don't you? That inner fire rising, that holy urgency stirring, that quiet voice inside saying, you're almost ready, because you are. Your stillness has become strength. Your silence has become power. And your home? Your home is no longer just a place, it's a portal, a gateway between the seen and the unseen, where divine downloads flow freely, where your light sharpens in the dark, where you remember who you are, before the world told you who to be. So the next time someone looks at you sideways and asks, "Why do you stay home so much?" just look them in the eye and smile. Say, "Because that's where I hear God the clearest." Comment below right now. My home is my altar. Let it echo in the comment section like a declaration. Let others see they're not alone. Let this moment mark you. Because we're not hiding, we're preparing. And when we emerge, we won't come back as the same. We'll come back anointed, focused, undeniable. So hold your silence like a sword. Treat your solitude like sacred fire. And protect your peace like your life depends on it. Because spiritually, it does. You are chosen. You are sealed. You are rising, and soon the world will understand.